This is not my usual vlog.
Not at all.
I was sick on Monday.
And you never get sick.
Darn right.
I never get sick, so I'm weak when I'm sick, and it makes me not want to do anything. Monday was definitely one of those mornings where I woke up, I did not feel like getting out of bed, but I knew that I didn't want to leave Yonkers alone in class. I knew that the school store was opening on Monday, and there was just too much to do to take the day off.
So I made it through the day on Tuesday, but I still felt like crap. And you know when you don't feel well in school, your classes do not go as planned. Pepper. Then Tuesday night we had Bond with James on Teacher Talk Live, which was awesome. The last of the season.
By the time Wednesday got here, I was feeling a bit like this stuffed turtle that the dog ate the eyeball off of the other night. I had grades due for progress reports, I had a department meeting after school, my grades all had to have comments in them, and I was trying to finish up a video that I'd been working on the whole week for Weaves, the insole company that reached out to me, and that I wanted finished by Wednesday evening. So by the time Thursday came, I was wiped out.
So funny enough, Thursday I wake up and I feel like at least 80% better. But I go into school and my lesson plans are so out of whack after not feeling well all week that I don't even know where I am. I don't even know where to start. I'm not even sure in some of those classes what actually we're doing today because I can't remember what we did yesterday. By the time Friday comes, it was not all flowers. A brief snapshot of my Friday was Yonkers came in with a student that needed help. We sat him down at my desk. As we were talking to him, a literal Ow, that hurts. A literal line of children formed in front of my desk, and one by one, they sat down and asked what was going on. Is this the cutest thing ever? It's one of the cutest things ever. Where are you going? So anyway, one by one, students sat down in front of my desk with problems that were going on at home or in school or whatever, and we talked them out one by one, and that was pretty much most of my Friday. I went out Friday night with some friends for dinner, and then that was my week. Now here's why I even bother to bring all of this up.
All right, let's just do this. I'm trying to make this video today, and it's pouring rain outside. I cannot find a spot to shoot in where there's not a train going by or an airplane or there's not loud rain. So now I'm in the parking lot here at Dunkin' Donuts. I ran out to get coffee real quick, and I like really bad coffee in the afternoon, by the way. So here's why I would even bring all of this stuff up. One, I just want you to understand why there wasn't a vlog this week. I just couldn't get to it, and those are some of my many reasons why. I by no means want to be one of those YouTube channels that or Instagram accounts that just kind of downs teaching or blames the kids for everything or talks trash on the administration. I have no interest in doing that, but sometimes you have a bad week, you know? Here's what I'm noticing though. What you can't see maybe from that side of this lens is that in the last 6 months, I've been trying to put a lot of time and effort into school, into planning, into YouTube, into being a dad. My wife has been working more and more because she has a job where you get the hours when you can. And so we're trying to make that work, but that leaves me home with the kids a lot by myself. And we're trying to make that work. What I've not been mindful of is taking care of myself and helping myself be at my best more often. No one's at their best all the time ever. And if someone out there is, you're just gonna make the rest of us probably feel bad. But for me to be at my best, what that looks like for me, waking up early every morning and praying for my own situation, being grateful. 10 years ago or so, my wife and I went to Zambia and South Central Africa, and we spent some time working at a hospital where children had to walk miles every day to just go get a bucket of fresh water. All these years later, that stuff still resonates with me. The other part of it is me getting up early and exercising every day. And for me, that's running and going to the gym. I don't do a lot. I set the bar super low so that I can be super proud of myself when I do well. It means eating well. It means hanging out with my friends as much as possible because I think for me, everything is better with friends. And that's it. I mean, that's how low I set the bar, but that's where I need it to be. And when I do that, I am more patient with everyone. I'm more patient with my students, with my wife, with my children, with my loud, crazy neighbor that lives behind me. I have patience for a lot more stuff. I'm more creative. I'm a more creative father and a more creative husband and a more creative teacher. I feel overall less stressed and I have far more energy. And when you have energy, you know when you go to school and you feel like your spirit animal is a sloth, you have no patience for what the kids are doing, or you just want to get through the lesson, or like, why is this taking so long, or why doesn't this kid understand what I'm trying to teach him? But when you have a lot of energy, the principal could ask you to do 10 things and you're all over it. Kids almost never get on your nerves, and if they try and come at you, even if it's the worst temper tantrum ever, you feel like you can handle it because you're on your game, and having that unlimited energy just kind of like helps me to be better when I'm at home, so I can like help my wife out with stuff, and I'm a better dad when I get home. In the not too distant past, I got a book called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and his friend whose name I forget. No disrespect to you, my man. The idea of this book, behind the title of this book, Extreme Ownership, is this. It has something to do with the effect of, what if everything that is not going right in your life is completely on you? And so I think this is worth thinking about. I don't know that it's 100% correct in everyone's scenario, because I don't know exactly what you're going through. What would your day look like if it wasn't the principal's new policies that were making you have a bad day? What if it wasn't the student's inability to pay attention or to want to learn, and that was on you and not on the students? What if it wasn't the toxic teachers around you that were causing you to not have as good of an experience as a teacher as you could have? What if that was on you? I realize this could upset a lot of people, but I think if I'm thinking about this in terms of me, it gives me a lot more ownership. It gives me a lot more power in this situation. I'm not dependent on others to do well so that I can do well. Everyone around me could be falling apart and not doing their job, and things could be in shambles. I'm taking ownership over what I am doing. I can tighten up my lessons. I can make my classroom management better. I can be real with myself and figure out where my shortcomings are, and then actually working on them, instead of saying that it was because the dean of curriculum didn't have my curriculum right or something like that. Or when I'm freaking out at my class, maybe it has less to do with my students' inability to pay attention or to behave, and it has something to do with like my inability to manage my anger issues. Maybe my passive aggressive attitude isn't a result of the people that I'm working around. Maybe it has something that's a little bit deeper, right? And I'm not trying to like psychoanalyze anyone, but I just think it's worth thinking about. And I think it's worth thinking about because it gives you the power instead of someone else holding the power over you. So I don't read a lot of blogs anymore, but someone named Seth Godin is a blog that I read every so often, and usually it's because his blogs are very short. They're like 10 lines long, and then you can go about your day and it gives you enough to kind of go on. In September, Seth wrote a post called The Muscle Bound Baby. He says, when we see someone with well-developed abs, we don't say, oh, he was born that way. Instead, we realize that a lot of effort went into that. You don't let yourself get off the hook. We're all capable of huge leaps of insight and empathy if we're willing to do the work to learn how. I've gotten a lot of emails lately from people that are just having a hard start to their year. And to be completely honest, I am having a particularly difficult start to my year. And it's not just school. It's stuff with my own children, and maybe I'll go into that at some point, but not yet. And writing a new curriculum and trying to do YouTube. And I'm noticing a lot of folks like online on social media, and even some of my YouTube friends who are like really struggling this year, have a particularly hard student or have particularly hard classes. And I'm watching these vlogs and I'm seeing this kind of pattern. What it made me do is stop and realize that I can be better. I've been better before. People that have been in my shoes have been better before, and there's no reason I can't do it also. So here's the change that I hope you see in this channel from here on out. My plan for this year is to have the greatest year ever, and I still think 4 weeks in is not nearly enough time to make me say, maybe this isn't going to be the best week ever. Maybe if it gets to May or June and it's not happening, I might say, maybe I failed. Maybe this isn't the best year ever. And as a matter of fact, I want to change this channel's trajectory just slightly. Still doing weekly vlogs, still doing informational videos, still trying to break down my week so that it brings value to people. But I want to double the value to all of you. I want to help you in any way that I can, even with my limited means and limited experience. I want to help you have the greatest year ever. You want to take your students on a trip abroad, and I got a whole lot of comments on people that want me to make that video? Done. You want me to break down my lesson planning process for my upcoming Shakespeare lessons? Done. I want to try and bring you as much value as possible, because otherwise, what is this channel about? It was never meant to just be about me or being funny or being silly or showing off my students or any of that. It's always ever been about you, the viewer, and what kind of value I can bring to you. And to be honest, it's also about you all bringing value to one another in the comment section and in emails and people who were connecting there. So that's it. Starting here and now, this is the best year ever, and I'm going to crush it this week, no matter what. Does every best year ever look like we're shooting confetti all over the place and sprinkling unicorn tears on everything? Nope. Sometimes it looks like you made it through the week even though it sucked. But I hope to bring all of that to you. What I want more than anything is what myself and my friend Miss May, one fab teacher, were talking about recently, which is like this idea of bringing the most authentic experience of what teaching is like to you, the viewer. A couple of things coming up real quick that I want you to know before you switch me off and go watch One Fab Teacher or something like that. On November 8th, I'm going to be speaking at Rowan University. I was supposed to speak for 30 minutes at the end of a meeting. I was meeting with the sorority that was there. After mentioning on this channel, this is kind of hilarious. People started emailing the sorority and asking if they could be a part of this. So Rowan asked me to speak for an hour instead of 30 minutes. And they're opening it up to the whole school. So if you're in the area, if you go to Rowan University or Rutgers or anywhere else around here and you want to be a part of that, just look it up on their website. And I'm kind of really looking forward to it because what I love doing the most is helping new teachers kind of grow. Well, I mean, I also like having pillow fights with my kids, but I like having pillow fights with my kids and then helping young teachers, but definitely not having pillow fights with young teachers because that's just weird. On Wednesday night this week, my absolute hero. I've been saying this for a while and it's been getting closer and closer. Rafe Esquith is going to be on Teacher Talk Live, which is now on Facebook Live. It's no longer on YouTube, largely because I can't post on YouTube the way that I want it. I can't have it look the way that I want. All right. Hope you have the best week ever. Peace.